All right, good morning. We are joined today by the Virginia Beach candidate for sheriff office, retired Deputy Chief John Bell. Thank you very much for joining us today, Chief Bell.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for inviting me.
Could you take a few minutes to describe your candidacy and your policy platform?
Sure, I'll be glad to. Well, many may not know, I was with the Virginia Beach Police Department for 40 years. I retired as Deputy Chief of Police. My last 5 years, I was Deputy Chief of Police. And part of my division was on community outreach, as Executive Liaison for Outreach, where we had our police officers working with our communities and our young people specifically to build those relationships. And after I retired in 2015, the community asked me to come out and run for sheriff because there were concerns they had. One was breaking that school-to-prison pipeline. Unfortunately, a lot of our young people now they turn to drugs, guns, and violence, and they have those negative influences. So what they were trying to do is to break that school-to-prison pipeline because we know that, unfortunately, the criminal justice system disproportionately affects African Americans.
Yes, sir.
And what I wanted to do as the next sheriff of the city of Virginia Beach is to get the deputies out of the jail and into the community. I feel that if we could get the deputies out to talk to our young people, just like we do with the police department, to have them become mentors and role models, and someone just to talk to, because I think if we're not there to interact with them, the gangs will, and that's when they become involved in negative behavior, which results in incarceration.
Right.
So I'm committed to having the deputies in the communities, working with our young people, being mentors, role models, and also pointing out to them what faces in their life behind bars. I don't think a lot of our young people have an appreciation for what's really like behind bars. In my feeling, it's who best to tell them, but deputies who will control every moment of their lives.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now you mentioned that the community and community members and community leaders had pretty much courted you or so to and influenced your decision to go ahead and seek elected office.
Right.
What were some of the issues that were paramount or really important to them that be highlighted through the sheriff's office?
Well, one was, again, as I mentioned, the school-to-prison pipeline. They were currently concerned about that.
Yes, sir.
They were also concerned about reentry.
Okay.
I'm on the Virginia Beach Reentry Council, and as such, we look at ways to provide support, training for inmates who are incarcerated. They were concerned that there are some programs in the Virginia Beach Sheriff's Office, but I think more can be done. And by being on the Reentry Council, I have an appreciation for some of the resources that are out there and what can be done to help those inmates. There are a lot of people who are incarcerated currently who are not necessarily bad people, but people that made bad choices. And I think it's incumbent in the community, believe also, it's incumbent on us to show compassion and for those nonviolent offenders to provide them with training so that when they come back to society, they're able to pay taxes, have jobs, take care of their families, and hopefully not re-offend and re-victimize. So it's a smart move to make. It's not being soft on crime. It's about hopefully correctional centers, the Virginia Beach Correctional Center. So we're trying to correct that behavior,
Yes, sir.
which led to them being incarcerated in the first place. Also, the community was kind of concerned about the fact that the sheriff's office, they felt was being used for partisan politics.
Yes,
and for 40 years as the police officer of Virginia Beach and 2 in New York, I didn't have the desire or luxury to let partisan politics influence how I serve my community. And unfortunately, in Virginia Beach, that's the case. The League of Women Voters had us do a survey, my opponent and I, asking us if the position should be elected. And part of what I responded to is it should be not just elected, but should be nonpartisan. I agree with that. But it should be nonpartisan in fact. And unfortunately, currently my opponent, who was a senator for 18 years and a member of a different party, he has used that office, which I don't agree with, as a base, if you will, for expanding his political fiefdom. He's the sheriff. His brother, we talked about dynasty in my campaign. He's the sheriff. His brother's a county attorney. His other brother's in the House of Delegates. His sister is a senator in Northern Virginia. His other brother is commissioner of accounts. He has a captain on the sheriff's office who he pushed out up to the House of Delegates in Richmond to do his bidding. And he also has other things. Matter of fact, another one of his captains is the chairperson of the Republican Party of Virginia Beach. So that's a concern. I just think it's too much power, there's too much potential, for undue influence, and it needs to be changed, and the community agreed as well.
Yes, sir. Well, wow. let me ask you, what entities or organizations have endorsed your candidacy?
Sure. Well, the first person to come out and endorse me was Governor Terry McAuliffe. He has me on the Secure Commonwealth panel of Virginia. I was appointed by the governor, and that deals with any public safety issues addressing the facing the Commonwealth. So Governor McAuliffe was the first person to endorse me. I also have the endorsement of Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam, who's a candidate for governor, Justin Fairfax, who's a candidate for lieutenant governor.
Yes, sir. And
also Mark Herring, our current Attorney General. I also have the endorsement of Senator Tim Kaine, Congressman Bobby Scott, different groups. I have the Virginia Democratic Black Caucus. I also have the LGBT Caucus of Virginia, Democratic Caucus. Brat Pack is another group that endorses African American candidates. I have their endorsement.
Yes, sir.
Democracy for America. So there are several groups that I've talked to and told them why I'm committed to coming out for public service and not self-service, and they've endorsed me.
Awesome, awesome. And should you prevail and win the day and become our next sheriff, will your office be open and open to working with community groups and organizations such as the NAACP or nonprofits that have reentry initiative and may have some programming ideas to assist in your reentry efforts?
Definitely, Jeff. And one of the things is I don't have all the answers, but what I've done in my career as far as a law enforcement executive is surround myself with people who are smarter than I am and have some answers that I may not have. So I plan to reach out. I've already done that. I've reached out to some business people, and one in particular who has ideas for providing training for the inmates, possibly in the correctional center or having them brought to his place of business to provide training. You mentioned NAACP. I'm a member of the NAACP. With the police department, I work with them. I'm very familiar with a lot of their members, the president, other groups, the Urban League. I'm a member of the Urban League as well. So I plan on continuing, and again, that gives me by being the deputy chief of police and my connection with the community outreach for the police department, it gives me a leg up because I have those relationships already established in the community so we can build bridges in our community and not put walls up. Yes. And that's what it's about, is just having that communication, interacting with our communities, our business leaders, different groups, NAACP, Urban League, different groups that are also committed to making our city a better place to live and improving the quality of life.
So, well, I think that's getting close to the end of our segment here. I want to get your final thoughts and what you'd like to say to the citizens of Virginia Beach. Sure. And your constituents.
Well, the election is next Tuesday, November 7th. I encourage everyone to come out and vote. Not just your vote, but you need to bring friends, family, anyone. If the community comes out, we can win this race. But that's going to be key, is coming out. Regardless of the weather, what's on television, we need to come out and exercise our right to vote. And we need to have appreciation for the sacrifices that were made by others before us, to blaze those trails to get that right to vote. So it's not something we can take lightly. We have to come out. And we're also, for the first time in history in Virginia Beach, you have 4 African American candidates running as well. And we've never had that before. So it's an opportunity to make the leadership of Virginia Beach a lot more diverse, and we need to have that. We need to reflect the community we serve. But if you can visit my Facebook at John Bell for Sheriff, like it and share it. Share it with your friends, all your associates. And also our website is www.johnbellforsheriff.com. And if you'd like to also help us work the polls on Tuesday, I would appreciate having some more volunteers. But this is about making change, and we can make it happen if we all come out and vote next Tuesday, November 7th.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us today here at Political Savage, and we greatly appreciate it and wish you the best of luck in your candidacy.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.